Good morning. My name is Jenny and I work at Philbrook Museum of Art, and welcome to another week of Family Art Club. I hope you all had a great weekend. I had a fantastic weekend. It was so beautiful outside and I got to spend lots of time outside and enjoying the sunshine. And guess what? It's going to be like that today too. So I came up with a really fun sensory activity for all age kiddos, just for warm, sunny days like we're about to have. So this afternoon it's supposed to be up, the high is 80 degrees. So it's a perfect afternoon to get out and get a little messy and have some fun. So today we are doing one of my favorite sensory activities that is called like sensory ice play. And so I'm going to show you a couple different variations, and if you make them this morning, you by late afternoon, you should be able to get them out and get playing right in the heat of the day. So we are going to make ice paints, and so ice is really great for sensory play because not only do you get to experiment and explore the cold feeling of ice, but you also get to, it's a great opportunity to explore color and color mixing and some of the, just like the weight and how it feels. There's so many different ways that you can explore ice during ice play. So for our colored ice paints, you're gonna need water and some kind of food coloring, some kind of colorant. So I'm going to use food coloring because that's what I've got here, and that's what I think a lot of you all have at home. But there's a couple other things you can do that'll make really beautiful, vibrant water ice paints. So if you have any liquid watercolor at your house, liquid watercolor is amazing. It's super concentrated, so the colors are super vibrant and just really gorgeous. Also, I've done this with, these are called Crayola color bath drops. They're just like little tablets, and you can drop them in water, and it makes this really kind of intensely pigmented water. These are, just designed to be used in the bath, and it's got a little instruction guide on how to make the different colors on the back. So for today we're going to do food coloring. So I'm going to start by pouring some water into a vessel. You don't need to add a ton because we're going to be making kind of like paint pops. So you can use any plastic material that you have at your home, like container. It can be big, it can be small. I've got this little kind of tiny, I think it's like 4 ounces, that you use for like salad dressing or something. And so that's what I'm going to make mine in, but you could experiment with all different shapes and sizes of ice pop. So ice paint pop, because we don't really want to eat these, even though they are perfectly non-toxic and they wouldn't do anything. It's just, they wouldn't taste good. They just taste like ice. But I'm sure your child, depending on their age, will explore the ice pops with their mouth, because at some ages, that's how they explore. That's the best way they explore their world. So I've got some food coloring. We're going to do, I think I'm going to do like a yellow-green. I'm going to add quite a bit because I want my water to be really pigmented. I'm going to add some yellow to make it like a chartreuse color. And then if you want your freezer like paint pop to have a handle, you can use a popsicle. So I'm going to use this popsicle to mix it up. I I got some on the side, so I'll just kind of like, will it go? Yep. Okay. That way no yellow goes to waste. Might do a little bit more yellow because I really like this yellowy spring green. And it's going to get super concentrated. So if you're using liquid watercolor, it's already super concentrated, so you really just have to, you use this significantly less. So now I'm going to pour my water / paint into my container. And you have a choice here. You can leave it like this and create just like a cube, like a colorful paint cube, or you can give it a handle. And so if you want to give it a handle, you're going to need a little bit of foil. And then kind of just cover it up, squeeze it tight so it kind of hugs your container. If you want, you can put on a rubber band to kind of keep it secure. But the ones last night that I made, I just kind of squeezed it tight and was careful when I put it in the fridge and it was, or the freezer, and it was just fine. And then you're going to take some scissors, poke a tiny little hole in your aluminum foil, and take your popsicle stick and just put it in there. And I said tiny hole because if you create a hole that's too big, the small hole kind of gives it some tension that keeps it standing up better. So if you have a really big hole, it'll kind of go every which way. So the small hole keeps it standing up straight. So at this point, I've already made a blue one, so you can kind of see what that looks like. And I've got this green one. And these are ready to go in the freezer. And these will probably, depending on your freezer, be ready late afternoon. So I'm going to put those to the side because I already created some last night, so I can show you what they actually do. So I've got some paper. Doesn't really matter what kind. If you want to keep it, you could use like a heavier weight paper, but this is really about the sensory exploration and the color exploration. So we're not really creating any like masterpieces that we want to keep for the rest of our lives. So I just pulled off my foil, and I've got 3 colors here. I've got blue, red, and purple. And so they've been kind of already melting as they're sitting here. But really, they just create like this cool handle. Red looks really beautiful. And you can just bring these out and create like an exploration for your kiddos. They're going to come up with 1,000 different ways to experiment with them. That is different than you ever imagined. But as you can see, as you're mixing, you can experiment with color mixing, and it looks like with this red one, for instance, I put more colorant or pigment in it last night when I was making it, so it makes a better mark. And it looks like maybe this purple one that I made, I put less pigment. And so when I've made these in the past with the other, with liquid watercolor or these bath drops, it doesn't like, the color doesn't all soak into the center as much. So you can kind of experiment and see what works for you. But this one I think had a lot more pigment in it. And so it's just like really going to town. And these are really fun for outdoor play, especially on a day that's warm like it's going to be today. But I want to show you something special. So this is something that's a little different. It does require a little bit of special equipment. So if you don't have it at your house, don't worry about it. I've got just like a bin with some more paper in it. And then I just happen to have spherical ice cube trays. So you You could also do this with the this cube, but just without the handle. You could make it without the handle and do the same thing with the cube. So don't worry if you don't have a sphere. So I made yellow and red sphere ice cubes. And this is a really fun thing. You just drop them into your bin, and then they roll. And you can roll them. They look like really beautiful, giant, cold marbles. They're so beautiful. And you can roll them, and you can experiment with color mixing. So I did orange and yellow, or I mean red and yellow, so it's creating like an orange as I roll. These are super fun. And then another thing that these are great for is if you set this outside, maybe if you fill this with water and then create a ramp that goes down to this, you and your kiddos can talk about engineering and gravity and explore, you know, gravity in that way. You could also kind of think of it like a Rube Goldberg setup with these giant ice marbles that end in a tub of water. And it could be also like a kiddie pool or something. But these ice cubes, when they hit water, they just get really beautiful. And as they melt, especially the more pigment that you have, like if you use the bath drops or you use liquid watercolor with a ton of pigment, the pigment will just like spread outwards, and it's super, super beautiful. But yeah, so this is great for a warm day. They're fun to hold. They're fun to play with. They're fun to roll. I think your kiddos are gonna have so much fun getting outside, getting some sunshine, and exploring color in a brand new way. So have a great week. If you make some cool setups, throw them down in the comments. I'd love to see them. Or you can tag us, #Philbrook, #FamilyArtClub. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Have a good week.